What's up? I'm going to break down exactly how I schedule 5 to 10 roofing inspections every single day with Facebook ads. If you've never seen me or watched the channel before, I'm Cole, one of the co-founders of NCT Media, and we book well over 5 to 10 appointments per day for our clients. Some of our clients do even over 30 appointments per day for their roofing business through our marketing. And we basically do this through various marketing strategies that we talk about on this channel. And I'm just going to break down exactly what our system looks like, our Facebook ad system. For a majority of our clients, it does vary, and we have different videos going over, kind of unique different systems. So check those out. But by the end of this video, hopefully you'll be able to take away the stuff that I say, apply it into your business, and be able to scale and fill your team up with qualified inspections. Okay. So if you're struggling to fill your team's calendar, learn this system and you'll be able to book some more inspections for your team. Yeah, let's just dive right into it. First, I want to provide proof because obviously I could just be making numbers out of thin air here. So let me just show you proof, show you an example. So this is one of our client. Let me those are a bunch of tests. So let me just show you just more recent. So let's just check out like the 22nd of September. Let's see how many we got that day. Okay, we got 14. 23rd, we got 7. 24th, we got 5. You kind of get the point here. We're getting a good amount of bookings per day with this particular campaign. Um, I'm not going to show you the information, but these are all leads. You can see their names right here. Um, their addresses. These, I'm scrolling through all of these. These are all leads, right? This next guy, I think, is doing a little bit more volume. So this spreadsheet's a little old, but you see the third, 12, the second, 15. The first. Oh, wow. First, we got 31 on the first. So well over 30, like I said, in some cases these clients are doing large amounts of volume for their business. Yeah, so we book well over 5 to 10 inspections per day, overall across our client base. Some clients are doing less than that. They're just on tinier packages with us. Some clients are on big packages with us. Really just depends. But yeah, let's just dive into exactly how we do this now that I got that proof out of the way. Okay, so this is just the ad strategy, and I'm going to break down what we do. First things first is a lot of people, when they start to launch a new ad campaign, or maybe they're already running an ad campaign, they're very scared to copy people. Okay, there's no reason to be scared. But a lot of people try to reinvent the wheel. They try to make a new ad funnel. They try to have different messaging. They try to have different ads. It's very simple. You need to find people that are very clearly doing something right, right? You could tell by how many ads they run. You could tell by how long they've been on those ads have been on the ads manager. You could tell by looking on the ads library, right? And you can look at what other people are doing. You can look on social media. You can see what ads those people are running by searching up, an established roofing company that you know of. You can search them up on the ads library, see what type of funnel they're running, see what type of ads they're running. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Okay. But you need to find people that are very clearly doing something right, and you need to copy them. Okay. I don't mean copy them exactly, right? Like if they're running a funnel, you don't literally make it look exactly the same, but roughly the same and roughly the same messaging. If it's all 80%, 90% the same as theirs, number one, you're not going to get in trouble for it. Number two, this isn't high school where if you cheat on a test, you get a detention. Um, you don't want to obviously copy them word for word, 100%, but you could pretty much copy them almost to the T and you'll be fine. You won't get in trouble. There's no teacher to give you a detention. It's, just copying what's working. Don't reinvent the wheel. Number one, you don't have the experience or the knowledge to reinvent the wheel. Okay. So you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You don't even need to try or test anything just yet. Find somebody that's doing a good job and do it the same. If you were good at copying in school, you'll probably be very good at running ads because it's the same kind of strategy, same system. I did it when I first started. I recommend other people do it when they first start. But yeah, that's like the first mindset shift that you need to have, right? Because I'll get into this next thing here, but you need to be willing to put your balls on the table here. You need to be willing to burn through 5, 10, 15 grand in order to find a system that's actually going to work. And if you're not willing to do that, you will never have success with ads. You just won't. It took a lot more than 5 to 10 grand to acquire more roofing customers for our agency to find that system. And it's paying off well. Like we're getting a lot of customers at a good cost now because I was willing to lose 20, 30. I don't even know how much I lost, but I know it's well over 20 grand I lost in figuring it out, right? Not only figuring it out on the ad side, but also on the sales side. We had to go through some reps. We had to go through different training systems. We have to go through different recruiting systems. We had to go through different, obviously, ad funnels and things like that. And I'll tell you this, if you are willing to copy people and you're willing to replicate what's working and not reinvent the wheel, you are going to lose a lot less money. And that was a big issue. That was a big reason why I lost as much money as I did, is because I wasn't copying people as much as I should have been. I should have been copying a lot closer. Okay. And you shouldn't even think that you know what you're talking about because you probably don't. If you haven't been doing this for like 2, 3 years, you probably don't know what you're talking about. It took me years to learn these sorts of lessons. Okay. So you need to be willing to copy people and put your balls on the table, lose some money in order to figure it out. You might copy the wrong person and lose money, right? Like it happens. You just need to be willing to lose money. So if you are super attached to money and you see 5 grand leave the bank account and you piss your pants, this is not for you. You need to have a mindset shift. And business isn't for you, frankly. You need to be willing to lose money in business. I'm willing to lose millions to make more millions, right? It's a trade. If you're willing to spend money to make more money, then you're good. You know what I mean? You need to have that mindset though. Just because the money's not there now doesn't mean it won't be there later. Okay. Um, and I know a lot of people are scared of things like this. They see 5 grand leave and they're just like, oh man, that's 5 grand, you know? But maybe you don't make money on that first five, but on the next five, you make 30 grand. And now you make that last five back, right? It's just all the mindset that you have, right? You have to be willing and you have to have belief that when you do spend that money, you are going to make it back eventually. Okay. And that's just business. And that same thing applies here. Okay. So you need to be willing to put your balls on the table for lack of better terms. Okay. Um, Copy successful campaigns, like I said. Okay. And then next is data driven decisions. This lesson took me way longer than it should have to learn. Okay. And I got punished horribly for it. Okay. But you need to set up tracking, number one, before you spend a dime on any sort of system. Like that's what I would recommend for every business to do is, all the time that you're spending on making your LLC and, coming up with the right business name, which ultimately won't matter that much, you need to spend that time setting up data tracking. Okay. I'm talking the outcomes of your appointments, of your leads, of, you know, um, your ad funnel, etc. Right? If you are operating with data, you are again going to figure out your system a lot quicker. And even when problems do come up at scale, bottlenecks, you'll be able to solve them. Right? It's a very simple concept, but you have different parts of your funnel, right? Okay, right? You have different parts of your funnel. Let me just draw this out for you. So this is your funnel, right? And then at the top you have traffic. Okay, you have traffic, right? That's traffic. Then you have the lander. Okay, and then you have the lead. I would say lead or like maybe pre-inspection, pre-call process, and then you have sales. Okay. Now it's like, okay, I'm not getting enough leads, for example, right? That issue could be pointed to traffic or lander, right? So when you check your lander and you see, I got 1,000 visitors, but only 4 leads or whatever, whatever the number is, I got 100 visitors and even only 4 leads. That's pretty bad, right? Like, okay, that means my lander's messed up. I have a low converting lander. Okay. And you can even look into more micro numbers on your landing page to identify the issue, like your survey conversion rate, etc. That's a topic for another day. But look at the number. It's very simple. And like, I know it sounds obvious, but when you're the business owner and it's your money that you're losing in your bank account or whatever, right? Like a lot of emotions involved. So you need to be emotionally detached from money, right? If you're familiar with day traders, a big thing with day traders is they need to have a very strong mindset and not be emotionally attached to money. Like I don't know if you've heard of revenge trading, but it's like you lose a trade and you're emotional and you're like, oh shit, I'm down 10 grand. And then you go to a revenge trade. And then now you might lose another 10 grand, especially because you're thinking emotionally. And when you have emotions involved in your decision making process, you're more likely to not make a logical data driven decision. Okay. So you need to detach emotionally from money. Okay. That's a huge thing here. Um, so let me just go on with this real quick. So okay, maybe your lander's converting good. Maybe you have 10 leads out of 100 visitors. That's pretty solid. That's like a pretty solid conversion rate. Um, that means your traffic sucks, right? So your what I mean by your traffic sucks exactly is that means your ads suck. Okay, so your cost per click is too high. It could be a ton of different things, but your ad probably sucks if you're not getting enough traffic on your lander. Maybe your CTA sucks in your ad, or your hook sucks in your ad, etc. And you can look at those numbers on the ads manager. You could look at your hook rate, how many people stay after your hook. You could look at, your cost per click. You could look at things like that, right? And then you could identify your issues from there. Very simple. Okay. And maybe you're getting leads, right? Maybe you're getting leads, but you're not getting sales. Then you look at, your leads, your pre-call process potentially, because maybe you're getting no shows. That's why you're not getting sales. Maybe you're getting DQs. That's why you're not getting sales, right? And then you could point to different parts of the process, right? Maybe you're getting shows, you're getting everything, but you're not getting sales still. Okay. Now look at your sales process. It's very simple. It's very, very simple when you break it down like that. But a lot of people, they mess this shit up because they have emotions super hyper involved with their decision making, right? So I just wanted to go over that real quick. But making data driven decisions is absolutely crucial, not only with ads, but also in business in general. And you'll see a lot of things here on the ad side and on the overall like media buying side is what you call it, is it's applicable to everything in business, absolutely everything in business. So having a mindset where you're detached from money, you're willing to copy people, and you're making decisions, you know, based on the data and not on your emotions, which kind of goes with like putting your balls on the table, being willing to lose money. Like you're going to be successful. You're going to be very successful. Okay. Like example, something that we have at our company is we have tracking down to the ad that a lead comes from, and then we could see the disposition outcome of that lead and point it back to the ad. So let's say we have an ad, let's call it video two. If we have a client and they're like, I'm getting a lot of DQs, and then we check, video two has gotten most of their appointments and it has a 70% DQ rate or whatever, right? Then it's like, okay, this ad is generating disqualifying leads. And then we shut that ad off. And then we see, oh, then we see ad four. Oh, ad four got all of their sales for them. And it's only taking up 25% of our spend. Let's put all of our money in ad four. You know what I mean? Like we have data that minuscule down to what ad is generating what type of outcome, right? Because that's ultimately what we want to optimize for is the sale. Okay. So that's just an example of the type of stuff that we do. And I'm not just saying these things, I do these things every single day. Okay, breakdown of how you should be launching your campaigns and running things. Number one, research phase. Find what's working in local markets or similar regions, right? It's usually going to be the same, like very similar what's working in Minnesota than what's working in Florida or California. It's going to be very similar usually, but sometimes a different offer, different style of ads, different framing, messaging, etc., is going to work differently in different areas. So market specific's good. Um, if you can't find anybody, then it's fine to go off Florida, copy them, and make little adjustments and tweaks. You're very likely to still, get something to work. Okay. Copy phase, exact replication of successful campaigns and messaging. Okay. So this is important as well. Like I said, you find the person that's doing something that looks like it works, and then you replicate it. You're going to get better at doing this as well as you go on because you'll be able to identify which guys are doing good and which guys aren't very easily by just clicking on their landing page. You could tell. You could tell when you click on somebody's landing page if they're getting good conversion numbers or not. Okay. So yeah, you get good at it as you go on, but you need to copy them. Okay. You need to copy them. Next, the test phase, small variations to improve performance metrics. So everything needs to be tested. Okay. If something's going wrong, you don't want to just sacrifice everything that's working, even if it's not working that great. If it's working 50% as good as you need it to work, it's still better than it working 20% as good as you need it to work. So it's better to take 20%, 10% of your budget, put it to the side, test the hypothesis that you have that is going to improve that 50% to 80%, 100%, rather than, just throwing that campaign to the side, putting all that money to a entire, entirely new campaign with all of your budget, testing that hypothesis because it's a hypothesis. It's not proven with data because you haven't tested it yet. So test, okay? Test. It's a different story, obviously, if you have nothing figured out. But if you have something figured out, even if it's not great, maybe you're breaking even, it's still better than losing money. Okay. It could always get worse. I promise you that. So test. And I know I said that you need to put your balls on the table here, but also just being smart, right? I used to have the mindset where it's like, it's not working as good as I want it to work. So let's just, throw everything to the side and restart, right? And that is not a good mindset. It's good to have the balls on the table mindset, but it's also good to be logical and to be smart because, again, it can get worse. It could always get worse. And it's usually never going to be a thing where it's like you launch a completely new thing with everything changed that is going to fix it. It's usually going to be incremental, small little things that you change. Maybe you make your ad length and this is something I did recently, you make your ad length from 90 seconds to 45. You know what that did for me? It brought down my booking costs from like the 200s to like the low 100s. And this is for like our company, not for our clients. But that's an example of something. And we see the same thing for our clients as well with ad length. So that's a little golden nugget there. But yeah, so that's essentially like something that will help drastically. It's just little things like that. So it's usually never going to be just an entirely new thing. Okay. So that's also operating off data and being smart. Okay. In the scale phase, double down on winning campaigns with increased budget. And this kind of goes into what I was just saying. A lot of people, they have some sort of mindset. They hear somebody's like, oh, my booking cost is $50, or like, I'm at like a 20x ROI. That's noise. That's noise. Who cares? Who cares? Great. You're doing 20x ROI. Great. I'll try to get there, obviously. Like, I'm going to try to improve my numbers and get there through my testing, but, it doesn't matter, right? I'm profiting. I'm at 30% profit margins. I have healthy numbers. Why don't I, instead of, focusing on being at the 20x and bringing my profit margin from 30 to 40, rather, why don't I just double my budget? Because overall, I'm going to make more net profit if I just double my budget and keep relatively the same numbers than focus on just increasing my profit by that much, which usually is going to be significantly harder than just doubling your budget and making more overall revenue and more overall profit, right? So you need to also have that mindset. Like I used to have some sort of mindset, again, on our company sides, not for our clients, that we need to be at a 7x, 5x ROI. Okay. Like if we spend, a dollar, we need to make five back, essentially. Right. But again, that's a stupid mindset. It makes zero sense because we are going to still profit. You know, Even if we lose money in the first month with our client, if we re-sign our client, then we're going to start to make money, right? So why do I need to profit so much on the first month, right? I should just be willing to get as many clients as I can because I'm so confident in our service and the results that we're going to deliver that we're going to get them on a second package and a third package and a fourth package. And that's where we're going to start actually making some profit. Okay. So having a stupid mindset is going to limit you, and it limited me. I am willing to crank things up, even if I'm getting a 2.5, 3x return. Okay. And what's funny? As I scaled, my return got better because I just stayed consistent with what I was doing. And we just have little incremental improvements that improve our returns. Like you need to just be bored and be consistent and just trust the process and just scale. Like you don't mess with that mindset. I don't care what anybody does. If somebody tells me that they did a 10x and I'm in groups I'm in like Jeremy Haynes' inner circle, if you know who Jeremy Haynes is. I'm in, different groups that are running similar offers to me, but they're like, I did a 10x. And I'm like, great, you did a 10x. That's phenomenal. I'm happy for you. Okay. I don't care though. It doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything to me. Doesn't change what my numbers are. Doesn't change anything. Okay. So know your numbers and scale. Everything else is noise. Lead hammer. Okay. This is going to be a little quicker. I've spent most of the time talking about those fundamental things there. And if you understand that, you are going to have a good system in place. But here's where a lot of people, they kind of forget about it and they just let it go. So there's three mistakes that people make. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. They get the first part right, they get the lead, but they either rely on those leads to book on the calendar themselves. They might rely on them calling them for the first time to book the appointment, or whatever it may be, right? You do not want to have one or the other. You need to have all. If you cover all bases here, you are likely to have a really good booking rate and a really good booking cost because of that. Okay. So there's a couple things. Number one, lead notification triggers instant access, instant action, no delays, no excuses. Okay, so what are we doing right when a lead comes in? We text it, we send a message to our call center to call the lead. We call the lead in under 60 seconds. If any of our callers take over 60 seconds, we are on their ass. They are not allowed to call over 60 seconds. There's no reason for them to be calling over 60 seconds unless that lead comes in at like 4 in the morning. That's the only acceptable reason for a lead to not be called in under a minute. And if your speed to lead is more than a minute, you are doing something wrong and you are going to see worse numbers because of that. Okay. Very simply put. That's the first thing. Second thing, text and emails. Okay. You want to hit them from every angle. Some people, they might just book on the calendar and boom, good. They booked on the calendar. They like just doing that now, getting it out of the way on their phone. Others, they're just like, whatever, I'll book it later. Or maybe they want to talk to somebody. They want somebody to reach out to them. That's where you call them. Okay. Some people, they forget to self book, but they don't want to answer the phone. They don't answer the phone quite often, right? You see what I'm saying? There's different types of people. They're going to have different types of responses, right? So you want to have every single base covered so you activate as many people as possible to actually book an appointment. Okay. So a text, an email, etc. Right? You're texting them constantly, you're emailing them constantly, and you're calling them constantly. That's why I said relentless follow up. There's diminishing returns, like after like I would say 5 to 7 days of doing follow up. There's definitely diminishing returns there, but you want to do your follow up um, for at least like 5 to 7 days, and then you could have like a reactivation campaign every quarter to just maximize every single lead as much as possible. And that's typically what we're doing as well. Okay, so that's like the first thing there is cover all bases, have relentless follow up because some people might not be a good day. Day two might be better. Day three might be better. Day four might be better, right? Usually the first day is where you get most of your stuff, but some people, they have some sort of thing that came up, some sort of reason. And that's again covering all bases there, right? Because everybody's in a unique situation. So you want to cover all bases. And yeah, essentially that's pretty much it. Qualify and book over the phone, over text, etc. You don't want to just book them loosey goosey. You want to make sure they're qualified. And it depends how you have your ad campaign structured. You might qualify before the lead comes in or after. It really depends. I've seen both work in roofing because some companies, they don't really need as much qualifications as others. So it really just depends again. But I wouldn't loosey goosey book. Okay. That's pretty much it. Multiple touch points, higher conversions, like I said, phone calls, text messages, email sequences, confirmation system. Let me use an example here, actually. We were having a pretty good booking rate. I think we were at like high 30s or 40% running lead form ads. So that's pretty good for lead form. Um, but we didn't have any sort of text sequence in place. We added a solid text sequence. I think it's 7 days. We send them memes, we send them personalized messages, etc. And that increased our booking rate by like 8 to 15%. So we jumped from like, I think we jumped to like 45 to close to 15 or 50% from like mid 30s, high 30s. So very good stuff there. It just depended on the campaign also, but yeah. Your next steps to 5 to 10 daily inspections. Number one, set up tracking systems. Number two, research and copy winning ad and ad funnels. And number three, implement the lead hammering that I talked about. And if you want to scale beyond 10 inspections per day, um, if you even want to do 2 inspections per day, 3 inspections per day, you could click the top link in the description below. We'll help you out with that. We take care of everything, the ad systems, the call team, the nurturing, all the above. We have it figured out. We have data from every market and every single, unique company and situation. So we're very likely to be able to help you out in your situation and figure it out quickly for you. If you're not the most tech marketing type of person, then I would say this would be good. If you're kind of more on the tech marketing side and you want to do it yourself, just take the advice I gave you, and I wish you the best of luck there. Other than that, check out other videos. We go more in depth on other stuff like the actual ads themselves, the funnel themselves, etc. So check those videos out if you need help with that. And other than that, stay tuned for the next one.